Did you know that one simple habit could be silently destroying your conversation, making people lose interest in talking to you, and even harming your personal and professional relationships? And most people don't even realize that they're doing it. A Harvard study found that people spend 60% of conversations talking about themselves, and this number jumps to 80% on social media. Why? Because our brains light up with pleasure when we do. But what happens when this natural tendency turns into a habit that ruins our ability to truly connect with others? Today, we're diving into the number one habit that harms your conversational skills, why it's so dangerous, and how to fix it fast. If you've ever felt like your conversations go nowhere, that people don't listen to you, or that you struggle to make meaningful conversations, this video is for you. Have you ever had a conversation where you felt unheard? How did it make you feel? Let's talk about it. Before we dive in, a huge thank you to Notion. I'll attach more information about them in the description below. Number one, the number one habit ruining your conversations: interrupting. Let's get straight to the point. Interrupting. You might not even realize you do it. Interrupting makes people feel ignored, undervalued, and frustrated. Think about it. Have you ever been in a conversation where somebody keeps cutting you off? How does it make you feel? Annoyed, disrespected? Maybe even like your words don't matter. What's particularly insidious about interrupting is that it happens on a spectrum. There's the obvious form, where someone simply talks over you mid-sentence. But there are also subtle interruptions, finishing someone's sentences, shifting your body language to signal impatience, checking your phone, or mentally checking out while formulating your response. Each send the same message. What I have to say is more important. A study from the University of California found that interrupted conversations create higher stress levels and lead to negative perceptions of the interrupter. So if you're doing this, you're unknowingly making people associate you with stress, frustration, and even disrespect. Did you know that the average person gets interrupted over 17 times per hour? That means that in many conversations, the listener isn't really listening. They're just waiting to talk. As an action, next time you're in a conversation, practice the 3-second rule. Before responding, pause for 3 seconds to make sure that the other person has finished their thought. This brief pause ensures that they've completed their idea, gives you time to process what they've said, and demonstrates respect for their perspective. Drop a comment below if you've ever been interrupted in a conversation. How did it make you feel? Let's talk about it. Number 2, why interrupting hurts your relationships and success. Here's where it gets worse. Interrupting isn't just rude, it damages trust and connection in every area of life. In relationships, it makes your partner feel unheard and undervalued. Relationship experts cite feeling unheard as one of the top complaints in couples therapy. Frequently interrupted partners report feeling less satisfied overall. At work, it signals that you lack emotional intelligence and it hurts your credibility. Leaders who interrupt are rated as less effective by their teams. A survey of Fortune 500 companies found that executives rated listening skills as the most important quality for effective leadership, ranking it above strategic thinking and decision-making ability. In networking and friendships, it makes people avoid deep conversations with you. They may continue small talk, but they'll rarely share meaningful thoughts. that create true connection. A study from the University of Amsterdam found that people who frequently interrupted are perceived less likable, less competent, and more self-centered. That's a huge deal if you want to make lasting connections, land opportunities, or be seen as a leader. One of the most successful communicators of all time, Oprah Winfrey, has a simple technique. She always lets people finish their sentences. Even in high-stakes interviews, she pauses, she nods, and she truly listens. That's what makes her interviews so powerful. She makes people feel safe, respected, and heard. As an action, next time you're in a conversation, make it your goal to let other people finish their thought completely before you respond. Notice how they react. You'll be surprised how much more engaged and open they become. You can also check out my video here on the power of mindset and how to use confidence to achieve success. Confidence and communication go hand in hand, and I'll attach a link in the description for you to watch next. Number 3, how to fix this habit. Mastering active listening. Most people listen whilst thinking about what they're going to say next. But true listening means being 100% present. Active listening requires practice and intention. It doesn't come naturally in our distraction-filled world. The first step is awareness. Many chronic interrupters don't realize they're doing it because the habit has become so ingrained. Begin by monitoring your conversations. How often do you jump in before somebody has finished speaking? Next, practice physical cues of attentiveness. Maintain eye contact, nod occasionally, and keep an open posture. These nonverbal signals not only communicate your attention to the speaker, but actually help your brain stay focused on what's being said. Here's a quick test. Next time you're talking to somebody, ask yourself, am I really listening or just waiting for my turn to speak? If you can't recall the emotional tone or specific details of what they just said, you are likely planning your response rather than truly listening. A powerful way to develop active listening is to practice reflective responses. This technique involves briefly summarizing what the person said before adding your thoughts. For example, it sounds like you're feeling frustrated about the project timeline, and I understand why that will be stressful. Instead of interrupting, repeat a key point they said before adding your thoughts. This makes the other person feel deeply understood. When people feel understood, their brains actually release oxytocin, the same bonding hormone released during physical touch. Remember that silence is not your enemy. Many of us interrupt because we're uncomfortable with pauses, but meaningful silence gives both parties time to process and reflect. If you want to learn more about becoming a master communicator, you can check out Just Listen by Mark Goldstein. This is one of the best books on deep, effective communication. I'll attach a link in the description below. Number 4, the transformative power of conversation awareness. Understanding the impact of our conversational habits can be truly life-changing. When we become aware of how we communicate, we open the door to more meaningful conversations. I used to be terrible at this. I would constantly interrupt people, thinking I was just being engaged in the conversation. I'd finish their sentences, jump in with my own stories, and frequently say exactly before they'd even completed their thought. But over time, I noticed something. People started talking to me less. One day, a close friend told me, I feel like you don't actually listen to me. That hit hard. She explained that she'd stopped sharing important things with me because she never felt like she could express her complete thoughts. I realized that I wasn't truly connecting. I was just waiting for my own turn to talk. So I made a change. I started practicing silence, patience, and true listening. At first, it was incredibly uncomfortable. Those 3 seconds of waiting felt like eternity, but gradually it became more natural. I started noticing subtleties in people's expressions that I'd been missing before. And the difference, people opened up more. Conversations became deeper, more meaningful, and more rewarding. The simple act of truly actively listening transformed my personal and professional relationships in ways that I wouldn't have imagined. Research also shows that improved communication creates a ripple effect that touches every area of life. People who master conversation without interrupting report a 42% higher satisfaction in their personal relationships and are 37% more likely to receive positive performance reviews at work. Number 5, improving your mental fitness. Interrupting often stems from an inability to sit with mild discomfort, the urge to speak, the fear of forgetting your point, or anxiety about silences. Mental fitness helps us develop the internal strength to manage these impulses. Practicing mindfulness and self-awareness helps us to become more patient. Research from Johns Hopkins University found that regular mindfulness practice actually changes our brain structure in areas related to attention and impulse control. The exact skills needed to overcome interrupting habits. Try this simple exercise. For 1 week, set a timer for 5 minutes every day. During this time, focus only on your breathing. When thoughts arise, simply notice them without judgment and return to your breath. This strengthens your ability to notice your mind wandering in conversations. Another effective technique is the stop method. S, stop what you're doing. T, take a breath. O, observe what's happening internally and externally. And P, proceed mindfully. You can use this whenever you feel the urge to interrupt. If you want to work on this, I'll attach a 6-minute journal here, where journaling for 6 minutes every day also helps you become more mindful. If you're ready to take your communication skills to the next level, I'd also highly recommend joining my Lifetime Learning membership. A Lifetime Learning membership gives you free access to the Success Blueprint course, monthly live workshops with Q&A, and 50% off the online store. With these resources, I go in much more detail on topics like self-confidence and communication skills, where you'll learn even more techniques for identifying your conversation triggers and developing the inner security that makes it easier to truly listen without feeling the need to continuously prove yourself through talking. Members report an average of 72% improvement in relationship satisfaction and 68% improvement in workplace communication. You can instantly enroll in the description below. Mastering conversation is just one step. The real key is to build a strong relationship with yourself. If you want to learn more on how to transform your life, I'll see you in the next video on how to build a relationship with yourself. If this video was helpful, remember to hit subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.